You're tuned in to Just One Hot Mom with host Nanika Ansari. Get ready. She's about to bring you that fire, that flavor, that heat, all that passion, and more from around the world and in your neighborhood. Stay tuned.
Hey, hotties, you are tuned into Just One Hot Mom, and I'm your host, Nanika Ansari, and it is spring, y'all. Spring, I think, is finally here. Let's just really hope. I think it's supposed to snow tomorrow, though. Like, typical Cleveland weather. Like, so we done had 2 nice days. It's raining right now, but then tomorrow it's supposed to snow, and then it's supposed to get hot again. I'm never going to sound like a woman again if this keeps up, but I am more than happy to be in your presence today. And I'm more than ecstatic to have these 2 beautiful sisters on the side of me. I have Tanisha Coates and LaShonda McClain. I always get that wrong. Here, and we are talking about the power of sisterhood. Hey, ladies. Hey. So I wanted each of them to describe what they do individually and then like what they do collectively, because it's super dope, the individual stuff. But then when you bring 2 powerhouses together, you ain't got no choice but to rock it out. So, Tanisha, can we start with you? What do you do?
So, hello, and thank you for having us. We are very grateful for this opportunity. So what I do is I'm really a person who is about women and women being encouraged. I love to see women love themselves, know who they are, know their worth, because I was a woman at one time who did not. And in that, I was in a domestic violence relationship with my son's father. And so I knew in one moment of a situation we were in that once I got out of that situation, it was my duty and my call and my responsibility to go back and help another woman.
Amen.
So during that time, I started journaling. The journal ended up being a book like 10 years later. So everything kind of went full circle, doing workshops, speaking to women for empowerment purposes, loving themselves, loving their children, and also loving the man that once abused them.
Ooh,
that forgiveness
is powerful. Forgiveness is a powerful word.
Yes,
People don't realize how big what role that plays in your healing process. All right, so LaShonda, now we know each other from church. We have done some Young Live stuff together. So what have you been up to?
Girl, I've been up to a lot of things.
All right, so tell me what's popping right now.
So in between the time that I've seen you first, I didn't have any kids. I wasn't married. So now, I have 5 children. Their ages are 9, 8, 7, 6, and 4. I homeschool. I'm a homeschooling mother. I'm going to just keep talking before you say something. I'm a homeschooling mom. I'm a lover of Jesus.
Amen.
A lover of my husband of 10 years, almost 11 in May. I'm also an entrepreneur. So I'm partnered with ACM, who is the world's largest direct seller of telecommunications, energy, and essential services. And so what I do is, my business name is House of Mother Entrepreneurs. And so what I do is I use that tool to help empower moms that, want to stay at home with their kids or looking for extra income with that tool. And I also am partnered with Tanisha Coates with I Am My Sister.
So I am super excited to talk about I Am My Sister because most of the people know, like, Just One Hot Mom, we say that we empower maternal figures. So you don't have to be a mom just to be considered somebody's maternal figure. Like, we have aunties and grandmas and stepmoms and people who have just taken on the responsibility of the motherhood figure. Yes. And so I'm like, we have to empower all of us in all walks of life. Because just because you gave birth don't necessarily mean you're like some awesome dynamic mom. So if you guys want to call in and talk, it's 440-252-0518, 440-252-0518. So when you guys got together, because individually you're empowering women, but then you decide to form I Am My Sister together. What was the creative vision behind that?
So LaShonda brought a wonderful piece to that because she has a lot of background in finances and knowing the wealth and how to get money and a self-employment, being self-employed and being an entrepreneur. Myself, that wasn't my little area. So I connected with somebody who that area was. Okay. And so I connected with LaShonda. I spoke with her and told her about the vision and what I knew God had placed on my heart to do. And she just stepped up to the plate. And so what she does, she teaches the financial part of it, because so many women don't leave domestic violence relationships due to finances.
And that's a trap right there, because you're just thinking like, trap. I won't be able to make it on my own.
Yes.
Like, I don't want to put my kids in a bad situation. I don't want to be in a bad situation. And we come accustomed, let's be honest, to a certain lifestyle. Who wants to go back to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be broke again,
I'll stay stuck right in this.
Okay, and then LaShonda, so what is it that you connected with Tanisha on?
Well, she kind of already gave you a little piece of why we're connected. So, being a domestic violence survivor is not my piece, but I think it's good that we pair together, even though I don't share that background, because what I've been learning as us walking together is that sometimes as women, we like to stay in little boxes and we like to stay in the same group of women and categories and things like that. And so what I've been learning with walking with Miss Coates is like, we need to expand and enter into different people's worlds. And the thing is too, like, because we share different backgrounds, we can thrive together and learn from each other. Me being a mom, me being also an entrepreneur, and being a strong woman of God, a lot of people ask me different questions about my mothering and my and just how am I able to balance all those different things. So being able to be positioned in I Am My Sister with women who may have suffered in that area, I look to be prayerfully someone to look up to, by the grace of God, be someone to look up to, and then to help them financially, with a tool.
I love that, because so last night I was on Facebook Live talking to some of my peoples, and I was like, hotties, like God positions us all to do great things, and we have to go back and we have to pour that into other women. You keep refilling your cup and making sure you're okay, but you also have a responsibility to pour that into the next woman. And when we don't do that, we are not driving our God-given purpose. And so I think a lot of times, though, that what I've encountered personally is women are shy, or they're stuck and things have to be a certain way. Nobody wants to be vulnerable. Nobody wants to tell their business. You know what I'm saying? And nobody wants to admit, like, I don't know how to parent. And I always tell people like that I am an imperfect parent, but I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's just a walk, and you're doing it. So I can appreciate you guys coming along and enriching and empowering women to be able to say, like, you got this, sis. You got this. But when we think about it, because when you mentioned that, like, that women put themselves in a box, let's talk about African American women in particular, because I think oftentimes people label us as like being unapproachable, having an attitude, we don't get along with each other. There's just so many things that they make an assumption about. How are you guys breaking the barrier to get people to understand, like, we are just women trying to do the best that we can, like everybody else, and we're trying to do it together.
And I think that's the narrative that we say. We're very transparent, like, sis, we don't have all of this together. We are up here literally by the grace of God. Like, we shouldn't even be here. And you probably shouldn't even be in these seats listening to it. But because you are, let's talk.
The conversation mostly goes like, how do you know what you're talking about? I just woke up and told myself one day, like, I was like, you know what, you can talk about this.
Yes. And allowing people to be who they are, because you don't have to stay that way. Wherever you are in that situation, if it's drug abuse, if it's still in that situation with the man that is abusing you, we're not judging you. We understand it's a growth process that you have to go through, and we're here to walk through that process with you, because somebody did it for me, somebody did it for LaShonda, somebody did it for someone else. So let's be that. We don't come like we're perfect. We're not perfect. We don't know all the answers. We just have a story to tell, to let people know we made it out, so we know you can too.
Go ahead.
And that comment about us not being able to come together, that's exactly why I Am My Sister is here. Like, we are cultivating that atmosphere with our events. We're cultivating, because at the end of the day, we see that as a problem, and we see that as a stereotype. Really, it's a stereotype. That's not true.
And honestly, I was like, it's not true, because you know what, I was like, I've walked along, like, lately, I would say, like, in the last 6 months, I've met up with more African American females who I've been able to do business with, who I've been able to, like, Hannah, part, like, you should work with her, or you, like, connecting people than I have in the past. And I'm like, we do get along. We do work together. We are fierce when we do it. And I mean, it's the truth. But it is. And I was like, it's a way. I've been taking this high impact women in leadership. I just got the certificate, so I'm leading women on high impact level.
Nice.
But in the class, there weren't a lot of African American women, and one of the percentages was like why we don't succeed in becoming CEOs or different categories in businesses is because that people want our attitude, but they don't want us to have the attitude. So they want all the swag we have to offer, but they don't want us. And it was like, okay, so then one lady was like, well, we just start asking for a seat at the table. And I'm such a smart mouth. I'm like, no, I want my own table. I don't want you sitting next to me. Because I feel like we give so much away that people don't appreciate. Then we get that thing where we're against each other. And I was like, we're not against each other. It's just that we have a way about ourselves. But why do you think some women are struggling and accepting that stereotype that I can't get along with her?
I think it's brokenness. When you're broken, you have broken outcomes. You do broken things. Like, broken people never are whole in what they do. It's no way to be because you're broken. But there's still strength in the brokenness because you don't have to stay broken. So if you have a sister to tell you, sis, you got this. You can make it. It's okay. I've been there. I understand. You know what I mean? If you have that sister, we got you, girl. Yes. But if you have that sister to walk alongside of you and say that to you and encourage you in those moments, you don't have to look at her like, oh, she got her hair like that.
I had that style last week.
We don't have to do that to one another because when you're healed and when you're whole, you are so perfectly okay with who you are, flaws and all, that you can represent in any room you go to. So I think it causes, when women are broken, that's how we act. And if we can just get that part together and just really love who we are, like truly love who you are. And I know it's steps to that. It's not you wake up overnight and I love who I am today. I know that's not it, but it's definitely a process. And groups like this, settings like this, help grow other people. Like, sis, it's okay.
And I think that's what people need to hear is it's okay.
It really is.
We really don't hear that enough. And I was like, we're learning to heal in a time where we maybe in the generation before us, they didn't know how to heal. So this healing thing is all the way new.
Yes, it is.
We have not done this before, and so there is no example, but we have to be the example for the next generation.
That communication is key. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Communication is key. Like being able to talk about the ugliness. And one thing that we say when we have our events is like, let's be open. We're up front at the beginning and taking off our own mask and sharing like already up front, like, so we're setting the tone and the atmosphere for people to understand, like, you know what, I've been beat, I've been molested, I've been whatever, and I've dealt with different struggles. So now that we've set the tone, let's talk.
I think what LaShonda said, I remember one time we had an event and LaShonda just was very transparent, okay?
And then she is like, the first time I met her, she was like, let me tell y'all what happened.
I'm free.
Let me tell you what happened.
I was in my seat like, okay, let me go out there and tell my story now. Like, it freed me and liberated me. Like, let me tell these dark secrets of my stuff too. I was like, she free, I'm not free. You gotta be free by yourself. So like really setting that atmosphere, because sometimes people will see you doing the work, and even now people, oh, you guys did the I Am My Sister event, it was so beautiful, it was this and it was that, you guys do these workshops and think that we're just perfect and it's perfectly working out for us. No, it's a lot to go.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle. It's nice where I'm like, you know what? Everybody can stay abused. Oh yeah, because I'm start abusing. So if
people don't realize that, because they will take you there.
Yes.
It'll be your home, your finances, your kids, your own emotions, your own mental. It'll be your physical. You're like, I'm done.
But women need to hear that. Like, it's just not still easy for us. God has just given us a platform, and we are doing our due diligence in that platform. But it's not easy. I still struggle with insecurities at times. There's still things that I still, like today, I was like, I need to get my hair done before the show. Like, why, Tanisha? For what?
You're fine.
Thank you.
I be telling people all the time, like, you can either catch me one or two ways. The people of Target or the people of Walmart. And you better speak to me either way, because it is what it is. Like,
it is.
I am a real person, and sometimes I have it together, and sometimes I don't. And in those moments that I don't, I will be honest with you, like, you know what? I'm probably not going to give you good advice today.
I might be a little different to y'all since I'm a stay-at-home mom. Because when I come out, I'm trying to do it up. When I'm at home, I'm in my pajamas. I come out looking like I want to look good. But I'm at home. I'm like, I'm in my flip-flops, my husband's shorts and everything. Because I'll just be at
You're
home.
comfortable. Right. You're at home comfortable. Be secure in that you're at home and comfortable. I can appreciate that.
Me too.
I love it. I'm thankful. It's a privilege.
And so I'm just thinking, like, we create these spaces because I remember, like, okay, so you were a Transparent Your event. I went to this event with Girl Trek, and they're into getting women be physical and activity. They're trying to get 1 million African American women to sign up and just walk, everybody walking. But at the event, she's like, grab your sister's hand and look in her eyes and so let her read what you did today. And I was like, and she was like, let it go. I was like, lady, you don't know me. But in that moment, I was able to see her not as a stranger, but as my sister. And I was like, you know, we have to create those spaces where people can feel vulnerable, where they can tell their stories. It's like lifting up, like you can breathe, you can push it out, you can breathe again, and I don't have to feel so burdened and broken. And so in the healing process, so what does it mean to each of you to be a sister? What is your definition of being a sister to somebody in this group?
I think I've created what I think a sister looks like, because to be honest with you, for me and my family, you know, I have a younger sister. We're 11 years apart, and I have a brother, and so I pretty much was the mama of my family. But I know what I desire for a sister to look like. So I created, like, you know, I would love for someone to be kind to me. I would love for someone to be real with me, you know, and all the time, you know, I don't always receive that same you know, the same attention. So I strive to do what I desire, what I would like for somebody else. So I create what it looks like, and it might be a fantasy, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, life is hard. People are going through real struggles, you know, and to come purposely with a smile and an open arm, it's you have to be intentional about it. You have to be intentional because people are hurting. So I create that sisterhood, just family, of what I see family to be.
And I think it's very important for me to just meet people where they are. Like, even in my livelihood, I work with, you know, mental health, substance use. Some people's physical health are deteriorating, and I just know I just have to meet a person where they are, love them exactly where they are, because that really is my sister. That's my brother. That's you know, that's my commitment to just who they are, and to meet them there.
And, you know, it really does make a difference how you choose to see people. You know, I say the world can see them however, but it makes a difference when you put on your glasses and you choose to see them like, this is my sister, this is my brother, this is my friend, because it makes it, I don't want to say easier, but it breaks down the barrier of I have to put up a wall for this person, or, you know, I have to judge this person. It releases you of that, and you can see them for who they are. And then when they show you, you know, like, okay, I believe it. Like, you're not who I thought you was, but you showed me. And now I
make sure my person's with you when you're around.
Because of your situation, you know.
I know how to act accordingly.
But that is something we as women do. We will put you like, look, you had your chance now I got to put you in the box because you go along with everybody else. And so it's just amazing to see. Like, we look at the news, we look at the media, we look everywhere. We see women doing so many amazing things. Shout out to Regina King. She is, you know what I'm saying? You know, like when one of us win, I honestly see people celebrate. It's like one of us won, we all won. And so we see us now getting credit. Why though do you feel like it's because we talked about this in class? I got questions from class. Okay. Why is it taking so long for us to win? Like, you know, like we have to go the extra mile. We have to work 10 times harder. We have to always be prepared. Why do you feel like, because I feel like this is hurting some of our healing process, because if we don't see enough of us win, then we feel defeated. What do you guys think?
I honestly really think it goes back to self-worth. I really believe it starts from within, because if you're validated in who you are and you love who you are, what you say about me doesn't really matter. It can't change who I have to be or the trajectory of my life, because I know where I stand in my life. Right now, I can honestly say that's the place I'm in. If you would have caught me 2 years ago on this radio show, if I would have walked out and you would have said, they didn't do a good show. They didn't. Oh, God, I didn't do it. I'll walk out this door like, okay, hi, Mom. Okay. That's how you felt.
I'm not going to be hanging out with them, y'all. They is not going to have me out here
That's how you felt, sis? Oh. But that came from breaking down. That came from a lot of hurt and a lot of pain. And when I began to deal with the hurt and the pain and the disappointment of others, and what I even caused myself, my own decision making. Oh. That right there, my own decisions that were to my detriment, and I had to forgive myself in those things and work through all of that mess to come on the other side, and still have to walk through some things. But it was at that point where I realized, okay, it's okay, because it all goes back full circle and works for my good anyway. So just really, the self-worth, I think, is really a big portion of why we act the way we act, why we think the way we think. Because we got it going on, lady. My goodness.
Really
we are fabulous.
We don't have to wait for people either. We don't have to wait.
Thing, I was like,
like, we can do it.
Because when I see, I'm like, girl, I see you winning. Like, yes, you was wearing that suit. Like, I was like, I make it a point every day to make sure I compliment another woman. Like, you are wearing that suit. Your hair is cute. Because you don't know what she's walking into or going through that may just uplift her spirit. I think of how oftentimes I walk into meetings today and I'm like, oh my God. Like, you know what? Jesus, give me strength. And how I might feel if somebody stopped me along the way. I was like, girl, you got this. You know what I'm saying? But you have to tell yourself that sometimes. Like, you don't know how many times I go in the bathroom, I'm like, you're going to knock this out of the park. Like, don't you better. You know what I'm saying? But that's a learned behavior. You have to train yourself to be like, you know what? Even when nobody is clapping for me, clap for myself, pat myself on the back, and be able to walk and do what I need to do. Because if we don't do nothing else, we always do what we need to do or what we have to do. Like, it's like a tattoo somewhere on one of our lips. Like, it's like, like Wakanda. It's like on your lips somewhere. Like, if you don't know it, it's ingrained in there somewhere.
But even that gets tiring. Like, sometimes it's okay just to rest. It's okay. Rest is an activity. Go ahead and take your butt and sit down and rest. That is okay. And I think sometimes we try to do so much, or we overcompensate for so many things because we don't feel that security within. We don't feel secure within, that we overcompensate for other things to fulfill those voids, and it will never happen. Your affirmations, if they never come, I still have to be happy within. If I never get an applause, I still have to be happy from within. It begins internally. It really does.
It is. I think it's so. You're absolutely right, and I think you mentioned that it's a learned behavior. That's very true, because I believe if I wasn't exposed to the area of entrepreneurship, I wouldn't have known that it's okay to make mistakes and keep going. Like, if I didn't know, if I wasn't around people who are doing things in business and showing me, I'm just a regular person, and because I'm a regular person and I'm failing, but I'm failing forward, then I can be able to be free. Like, you know what? It's not a perfect person that can succeed or have success. And then, too, realizing how resilient we are with lack. No, we're so resilient in lack. And so, like, if we have that type of level of resilience, we know how to do so many things with less. Like, if you would just use those same attributes going after something, we already have the education. We already know how to make it work already, but we just need to be exposed to people and knowing a pathway of hitting marks of wealth, hitting marks of value. We already operate in resilience. So just, connecting that in the right path and with the right people,
See, I always have that conversation with the girls from Young Lives. Like, in our story, it says we always win. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you lived your life knowing that in your story you're going to win in the end, like, if God already tells us we won.
Amen.
He already told us that. So why not live a victorious life? What are you waiting for? You know what I'm saying? Like, live that victory. You're going to have some times when you're like, I don't know if this is the victory I was looking for.
Don't smell like victory.
This looks like something else. Yeah. But if we lived that way, just imagine how better your life would be if you could be like, I got the victory. Like, in everything you do, even when people make you mad, I got the victory. Going over there with yourself. You know what? I got the victory. Not going to worry about whether I burnt up dinner tonight. You know, like, I'm serious, because women are so hard on themselves for everything. You know, it's like, my kid's in trouble at school. I didn't do the grocery shopping today. I didn't do the laundry today. Yeah. And for me, lately, I was like, I'm just free. I'm like, you know what? I didn't get, I don't know one person alive that has been able to complete their laundry. I'm talking about wash it, dry it, fold it, put it away. It just does not happen.
Unless you tell your kids to do it.
Right. Unless it's a team sport. It is a team sport. But we are so hard on ourselves because sometimes people will portray or show us like, I've done it all. And I'm like, girl, in some areas she's failing. And it's okay.
It is.
It's okay, because in her mind, you know, she has to put that out for you, out there for you. But don't think that you have to have it all together. Because I was like, I tell people all the time, like, I don't. I never have it all together. And I'm okay with that. Okay. And even when you point it out to me, I'm like, I already knew that. Like, you know, like, people will be like, Nick, you're not a good cook. And I'm like, I know. I purposely date a chef so that I don't have to cook. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I know that about myself.
You're a wise one.
Get hip, y'all. Get hip.
Where you are weak here.
Aligning your life. But you know what we do? We think that we have to have all things together. All our eggs in the basket, and it has to be together. And we don't realize that we have to call on our sisters in order to sometimes keep all of that stuff together. So I am super excited. I was like, I can't wait to come to one of the events, y'all. So I'm like, I am my sister. Like, yes. Because you just don't know how many times people need that reassurance that you're going to be okay. How important is it that we teach our daughters these lessons, though? Because we're learning them kind of, you know, like, we didn't see this before. So, I mean, like, this is new. How are you transferring that? So how important is it that we teach our daughters that? And how are you transferring this empowerment onto your daughters?
Well, me being a homeschooler, that was one of the reasons why we homeschool. It's not a pretty reason. Because in all actuality, you know, I was telling you, like, I cry a lot during my homeschooling. You know, I cry, but, you know, I laugh too. You know, and so my kids, it's very important for them to see me. Like, I just want them to see me. I want them to see me ugly. I want them to see me cute. I want them to see me angry. Lord, help me. I want them to see me happy. So, and I want them to see me praying through. And so, like, it's very important for them to see me as their mother. So my husband and I have sacrificed a lot just for them to see us. And so we've sacrificed our careers, we've sacrificed friendships at times, just because of the importance of my daughter to know that this is what real life looks like, and this is what ambition looks like too, and this is what love and sacrifice looks like on a day-to-day. And it's not easy, but I pray that in the long run that they would appreciate this. It's the huge sacrifice.
We all pray that our kids will appreciate.
Of course. Yes. The 2 incomes, okay, from a regular traditional job, you know, and then really going and stepping out of our comfort zone simply because we wanted to homeschool, stepping out of our comfort zone, being part of a business, creating our own companies, just simply because we wanted to homeschool. Like, that was the whole reason why we went in this direction. And God just showed us, like, us doing this together, Tanisha and I doing this together, God just showed me, like, I would never thought in a million years that I would be doing this. But in your sacrifice for your children, you never know how that flower may blossom. And showing them, you know, what it is to be an adult. You know, so
adulting.
An adult.
I just think if we would teach our girls this at a very, very young age, 3-4 years old, love your sister. That's your sister over there. What if we embedded that in their hearts and pressed that on their hearts at that young of an age? Could you imagine them sitting where we sit right now in our ages at 18? Okay, because we are 18 today. Could you imagine? Could you imagine the unity and with even the collaboration with LaShonda and I, and then you inviting us into the show, could you imagine how larger
it's going to be so beautiful?
Can you imagine
Next generation
what that would look like?
We're doing it, honey. They're going to be off the
You
hook.
guys need to check out Beautiful You. Remember those young ladies, Robin, that came on? Two dope young ladies. They're seniors in college right now. Shout out to my babies. But they have a whole curriculum that they teach at after school program where they feed into the girls and they tell them how beautiful they are. So we have them coming behind us and they're coming strong. Because when I say, like, they came and say, they like, we have a curriculum and you go from this point and then when you flower, you bloom. And I was like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't see that. So they're creating it and then we didn't see it. So we have to create it for the women in our group who haven't seen it. Because there are a lot who haven't seen it, who don't know how to heal themselves, who don't know how to forgive, who don't know how to love themselves, who don't know how to get in front of a mirror and be like, I'm okay, sis. I love myself. You know, I have to love every bit of who I am each and every day. And my big thing is at the end of the night, the only person you really owe it to is you. If you can be okay with you, it is well with your soul. You're good.
And we do plan on going into the schools. We definitely see a need for I Am My Sister in the school system because we really want the girls to know, and even the boys, because domestic violence isn't a girl thing. It's across all boards. You know, it's 1 in 4 for every woman, 1 in 7 for men. So it's abuse going both ways. So we really want to teach the girls and the boys how to stay pure in that, how to communicate, how to speak to one another, how to love one another as they are, you know, and not be judgmental, just really having a caring spirit. And I think that once we get into the schools and we begin to really do the work, because we know it's going to be a work to do. Because you can't whip nobody's kids. Right. Can you whip people's kids in the schools?
No.
Okay,
not yet.
We'll come to the schools when the whoopings are available. But seriously, just really going into the schools and really teaching the self-worth portion, because girls need it just as well as boys. Boys need to know you're kings. You're a king or you're a prince right now. You know, you are becoming who God has created you to be. You don't have to talk like that. You don't have to act like that. You don't got to have your pants all the way. King, you know, and really speak into their lives as well.
Because the more you see, like, we see little girls like that when we call them princess, so we call them queens. Young men will do that too. We just don't see it done enough to a point where you see enough little young men, like, because I call my son king all the time. I'm like, boy, you is fine. Like your mama. I want to go back to something you said about, you know, it being uncomfortable. And I think that that's a real big thing. People have gotten so comfortable with being comfortable that they're afraid to step outside and to do something different. You're afraid to... if your parents whooped and you're afraid of alternative parenting methods. We did say we was going to whoop y'all kids at school.
We were just playing. We do not promote abuse. We do not.
No, we're joking. But I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying? You only see one set way to go. And so people are afraid to step outside their comfort zone and say, no, you know, my kids, we're going to eat this way. We're going to discipline this way. And I think that it's very important that we open the door for people to say you can do it your way, and here are the tools for you to be able to do that. Because all too often we just see, like, I remember I met a young lady and she was like, well, my mom was a teen mom and my grandma was a teen mom, and she was like, and here I am, I'm a teen mom. That's just the way our family is. And I was like, you know, it's something outside of that. Like, you can wait to have it. You don't have to be a teen mom. And she was like, that's our family thing. And I was like, at that moment, it was such a heartbreaking experience to be like, you were not taught anything else. So if even a little time you spend with me, you get to see a different perspective. But it's important for more women to start showing. Don't be afraid to show who you are. Somebody is waiting for you to show up. Somebody is really waiting for you to show up.
And that's why you have to love who you are and know who you are, because that's the person they're looking for, not the fake you, the authentic you. Flaws
not the Instagram you.
Not the Instagram you that can cook, clean, and still have your makeup on and your stilettos. I'm
your
like,
eyebrows is way, and your lashes. I told somebody, I was like, I took a picture the other day, and they were like, your lashes were I was like, after that picture, I ripped them lashes off. I was like, probably sitting there like, oops. You know what I'm saying? Because nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect. And so you see what people portray themselves to be. But if you honestly look at the person, you can see that this is a business or just somebody pretending to be something that they're not. And heaven help you if you are the person who's that put together.
Yeah,
like
we need a lesson, please.
Yes, I really do.
Please come teach all the workshops of I Am My Sister. We need that.
So now that we are teaching our daughters this, and so I'm like, this is leaving a legacy. What so we have this program now. Is this program for women our age, or is it going to be for younger women as well?
Well, most of our I Am My Sister events that we've been having is usually for 18 and up.
Okay.
You know, any ethnicity, any religious practice, we're open.
I can appreciate that. That's a real big one, because you don't know how much in common you have with another religion until you actually sit down and have a conversation with someone.
Yeah, so we're pretty much open to any background, like I said, and we want different ages. We want because at the end of the day, the communication and the empathy, that's key, like for us to create a sisterhood, and we have to be open to listen. And so I'm really thankful that we have I Am My Sister, because of how the platform is being cultivated for us to listen to other people, you know, because like I said, we like to stay in these boxes. And when you step out, when you practicing empathy is so important. You have to be able to learn how to see things from another person's point of view, so that you can love them, because that's why it's I am my sister. You know, you become who they are.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So we can look and see the same person. Yes. We can mirror each
without
other.
Without judgment.
This week, big thing.
This week, Tuesday, I went to an LGBTQ peer group.
You knew all the letters.
Yeah.
Great.
But I went because my transparent moment here, I am ignorant to that population. I'm very ignorant. I don't know much. So I went to get more understanding and get clarity, because domestic violence also occurs in relationships that are same sex as well. But I don't know how to teach or how to help because I don't know about it. So I said I have to go and get understanding. When I say that meeting blessed my entire life, my entire life, my entire perspective had even changed. I'm a church girl. Grew up in church, no church, honey. I know the well. And I can.
You got your tambourine.
I got church in me, okay? But that's just not enough. Church in me is just not enough. So getting out of the church and going into where the people are who are hurting or who are dealing with any issues or who are loving themselves, and everyone else has a problem with how they love themselves, that was something for me that really opened my eyes to see how much more growth I needed in working to be I Am My Sister. Because I can't stand here and sit and represent I Am My Sister and not understand these different populations.
And your other sisters. Oh, I love that. I'm so glad you said it, because it is... I said it's a whole different community, and we don't see that. But I'm so glad you just stated, like, we have to leave the church, and that is a real big thing for me. Like, people are always like, well, you know, in the church, and I'm like, the people that we need to reach are not in the church. They are not attending the Sunday service. They are on the outside of the Sunday service. And so, I mean, keep my seat warm, sis. I like the third row from the back, right on the end. But in order for me to really fulfill my God-given destiny, I cannot be sitting in the church. So you have to go outside of the church. And I'm so appreciative that you're experiencing and going outside and representing different cultural experience for those people, because I mean, they are shunned, and and to not have an understanding of what they go through, you know, it does us more damage than good.
That's so real.
It does us more damage than good. And then we don't get to experience all that God has for us because we want to judge. So here's the thing, because I was talking a transparent moment. Like, maybe it was like a year ago, I wrote this article piece on my blog, and I was talking about this little boy was in the convenience store, and he was buying a toy gun. And he was in there by himself. And I was like, where's his mother at? And then she was in the car with these other kids. And I'm like, so she's just going to let him come in here and buy this gun? And so I wrote the piece, and I posted it, and I read it, and I was like, I had to go back the next week and was like, I'm ashamed of myself for shaming that woman. I didn't know her story. I didn't know what she was going through. I didn't know if she had to stay in the car if that was his reward for something that he had did good. She didn't know he was going. You know what I'm saying? But we oftentimes assume that we know what people have going on in their lives. So it's like, let me get out of my churchy way.
Yes.
And be, like you said, have empathy for her, because I don't know her story, and how I wouldn't want anybody judging me.
Yes.
You know how many times I done left my dog in the car? I'm like, oh, I got to go back and roll the window down. But I don't want anyone judging me for that. And I was like, to shame someone, that is just like, I don't think people realize how much damage they do when you shame a person and you don't know their whole story. You only know what you see. You don't know the behind the scenes.
How can you reach people for Christ? You know, how can you reach people for Christ if you just inside of the church? Like,
and when you think about it, Jesus was hanging out with everybody that was coming out of the club. Like, that's how I see it. Like, he was just waiting for them to come out. Like, y'all was in there doing that. Come on out and get all of this. Like, he was in the church, but he was also more outside of the church, reaching those individuals. He knew that people in the church knew the word, knew what they were supposed to do. You know all of this stuff. So what's the point of just me telling you, LaShonda, like, go back and read Matthew? Like, because you already know that. So why am I still preaching it to you and not preaching it to somebody who needs to hear it on the outside?
Or go
of the church?
live it. So you know it. Now go live it. Go out there and live it.
And show it. Because I think that's one of the biggest things I get from a lot of people is like, oh, you know all that church stuff, but you know, like, you look at me different. I'm like, I don't look at you differently. Like, not unless you do something crazy. You know, it's a matter of just being, like you said, accepting people where they are on their walk. And remembering that you're still on your walk. Like, cause it's a whole bunch of stuff, like, you know, like, it's a whole lot more walk to be. I ain't gonna even. It's a lot. It's a lot. But like I said, that's one thing that I like to say about women like us who, you know, we know it. Yeah. We know that we're not finished growing. Like, if the day comes and I'm like, I'm finished learning everything I was meant to learn, then I become the biggest fool in the room, because I'm never gonna be done learning.
And you really finished learning because you've already set your mind up and spoken, and now that you're done.
And then I close myself down to anything else, that possibility of learning or accepting anything else.
I had to teach my kids that over and over and over again, because when they come to a problem that they don't understand and they get so discouraged because they don't know, like, I have to consistently, repeatedly share with them that this is a time to be excited because you get a chance to learn something new. You know, so it's something I have to teach. You have to teach that, you know, teach that to kids. Well, for my kids, I'm seeing like the repetition of that, and how if I don't be intentional about that how you can grow up and be closed and not have an open mind and not want to grow and be set in your ways and just say, you know, this is how I'm used to doing things and this is how I'm going to still do things, instead of being open to learn and being excited that you're about to learn something new in life and about life and experience something new.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I think, like, I talked with some parents and they were willing to open up and learn new things in order to get through their kids, but then they were afraid of what their parents, so what the grandparents were going to say, like, no, we didn't have to do all of that when you're, but I'm like, this is a new time and a new experience, and just because they stopped learning doesn't mean that you have to take on the attitude of not learning as well, because there's so much, as times change, as technology is changing the way we are raising our kids every single day. It's changing the way we interact with each other. So I can appreciate you guys having a physical event where you can actually see a person
and touch them and love her and do like this.
Because even in my last class, she probably get a best hug. In my last class, it was not a classroom experience. We were on Zoom. And then they set us in these class, like these discussion groups, and you were supposed to interact with the people. And I was like, I'm honestly at home cooking or doing, like, what are y'all doing? But it wasn't like, I didn't get to see this other woman's face or her expression when we were having these discussions. And so I can appreciate when there's a live and a living person there who I can talk to, who I can see the reaction. They can see me. So what do you guys have coming up next?
Woo-hoo.
What's in the works?
So yes, it's so much, but it's so much good stuff. So let me tell you. So this is what we got. So this is our first event on March 25th at 7 p.m. Warrensville Heights Library, large meeting room. We are having a date with dads, and
I saw that.
this is strictly for dads. Mamas, you're not welcome. You can't come in there, mama, because you're not gonna get in there, mama. But
There's the dads.
right. Well, I'm the dad because I know you're not.
That's a whole nother topic. You are not the father.
You are not the father. So the fathers are welcome.
So if you know a dad,
tell a dad. But we are having a discussion about domestic violence and it happening in middle school, among our young teenagers and young adults who are in college. So this is really an issue, a serious issue that's taking place. So we want to have that discussion and really let dads know the sign, let dads know exactly what maybe you can be speaking to your child about. Just checking out the guy that she may be with, or she may be
or
withholding.
the girlfriend.
That's
These young ladies are aggressive. They are.
So we definitely want to have that discussion and bring that discussion full circle to these dads to really have knowledge and understanding. So that's part 1 of the series that we're doing, a date with dads.
I'm so excited for that.
Me
I can't
too.
come, but
sorry.
No, you can't come. I'm sorry.
But you know what? I think it's important that we incorporate that part, because as much as we are raising these strong individuals, they have to see it from a male's perspective. So I can only give you, I can't be the father because I can only give you from a female's perspective. I don't know how a male would envision that. I might think I know.
Right.
I watch enough movies. I read enough books, but I really can't get to the heart of a man and how he would handle specific. So I'm excited that you guys are doing that and giving the men an opportunity to hear you, but for you to hear them as well, and for them to hear each other. Because I was just telling my friend the other day, I was like, do men talk to each other like we talk to each other? Like, I just want to know if you're on the phone with your guy friend, like, hey, you good, son? Yeah, I'm good, son. Like, bruh, because do they interact like that? Because we do. Like, we will tell our girlfriends everything. And I'm like, do y'all have friendships like that you can expose yourself?
And that's another thing we really want dads. We want to let dads know we salute you. You matter. Like, you are significant. We can act like we don't need a man, or, we can do that whole thing that sometimes we can do when we're broken. Because we do that when we're broken.
We act up. We act up.
But to let the men know, like, we love you, we see you, we understand, and so we want to come to you in a way of compassion. We're not coming, you need to know your daughter might be getting it. None of that is happening. We are coming to educate and bring awareness of this matter, because it's a very, very serious matter.
And you have to remember, there are single dads out here. Yes, like, people don't think there are single dads out here raising daughters, raising sons who, they're trying to figure it out just like single moms are trying to figure it out. But because we've had more examples of single moms, we haven't seen as many examples of single dads. We need to help them ladies, like coach them along, not always trying to date them, but just coach them along on becoming a better parent.
Not your husband, sis. But we have a speaker. He's actually a single father, and his name is Wayne Cruz, and he'll be speaking from the perspective of a single father and what that looks like. And I think she's 11 or 12 years old, and really being able to speak to the men about how he has to parent a single child, a child by himself as a single man. And then we also have Tim Anderson coming out from Fallen Fathers out of Akron, Ohio. He's coming out to speak and tell a little bit about his initiative for fathers, the Fatherhood Initiative. Nate Phillips has given great encouragement and words for us. So we just have men come in to speak and really allow the other men to hear their hearts as well.
Okay, so ladies and gents, if you know of anybody who can, use it, because they always ask, like, well, what do you have for the men? And I was like, I don't know, I'm not a man. But this is an event for you guys. So come out and support and get the support that you need. And then start a I Am My Brother.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying? Like, start a I Am My Brother so that you guys can get the healing. Because y'all broken too. Y'all don't like that minute, but it's the truth. We know it because we can see it. Because we see our brokenness. We're like, he broke too. Right. So get that support you need. So when people attend your events, what are 3 things you want them to take away from your event?
Well, I would say the number one thing, first of all, because we're talking to women possibly have been in domestic violence relationships. We want to make sure that they get the information that they need of the hotline number, where to go for help if they're dealing in those type of situations. We want to make sure to get that information out to them. And then I guess number 2, like I was speaking of earlier about just letting women know that we are one. We're one. We want to really present an atmosphere where people can be open and transparent and just let the love shine through in our events, and just let them know that we are walking right next to them, and let them know that they can forgive themselves, begin this journey, and see from us that, like I think Tanisha said earlier, just how broken, how we're operating out of, even though we've been broken, that you can still do things, that you still have value. And I guess number 3 would be to inspire, to inspire the women there so that they can know that even though we're standing up here talking and, presenting information, that, you have a dream, you can also do these same things. We're not anyone special other than a child of God.
See, I have to take that back. We are all special. Like, girl, you are right. When I step out there, I tell people, because it's like, it's a million mommy bloggers, it's a million radio show hosts, but there's only one person that can do it how you do it. So own you. Own you, and own how you carry yourself, and own how you do stuff, because there's somebody that's going to connect with the specific way that you do something. And so they need to see you. So I was like, I am special.
Okay, take that special. I'll take it too.
We want to deal with women.
You are special.
We want to deal with women in a holistic approach too. At our meetings, we do not do cakes. We're not doing no pound cakes, sis. You're not getting no cookies and ice cream. We don't do that. And it really happened one day. I was having a meeting at my home with a lot of ladies, and my mother had made, like, it's called a crack cake, and my mother made this crack. Parts of this cake. My mother made this crack cake, and it was literally like people were like, Tanisha, I need some more. It was so good and buttery, and I don't know if it was I don't know, but whatever was coming out of that cake, it was great.
I know, I want some now.
So we were at the event, and everybody was just eating, and it was I just had it all spread out. I just let the ladies just go at it, right? And after I finished that event, my husband and I were cleaning up in the kitchen. He was like, so you were talking about, women being healthy and whole, and he's like, did you see what you serve the women? And it was just like, whoa. I'm like, yeah, I saw. What do you mean? A little convicted though, like, I don't know. And so he said, I think that if you're going to have women's empowerment meetings and really want to feed the women spiritually, he said, maybe you should feed them naturally the same way.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And I was just like, dang, that's why I married you, boy. Get me together. Right, get me together. And so I spoke to LaShonda. I said, we are not serving anything unhealthy for the women, because we can't get up there and minister or speak to women. You should be healthy. You should be whole. And these are the steps. Your 1, 2, 3. And there's your 7th cupcake. We really,
but I'm serious,
need to help in that area.
Because, and honestly, food is one of those areas that
bring us together. Like, now we might not even like each other, but you bring some food.
If you bring that cake, we probably gonna be best friends. I'm so serious.
Yes,
because food is something that has connected us for so long. But I'm gonna appreciate the healthy snacks and everything.
We do it healthy. LaShawn does. We do hummus. She does salads. We everything. Bottled waters, organic teas, fruits, everything.
I'm a big tea.
Yes, soups. Because we really want to deal with the women from a holistic approach. We want you to be well spiritually, and whatever that spiritual practice is. We can't make Jesus your spiritual practice if that's not what you believe in or who you believe in. That's who we represent.
Right.
Now, you want to do something now, you do something now.
Do your own thing.
And then, financially, that's the piece that LaShonda brings. And also making sure emotionally, where are you emotionally, sis?
Because sometimes, honey, that food habits come from your emotional. Like, if I get emotional with you, I might eat the whole cake.
That's why we don't have it here.
That's right.
But that food be gone, though. That food is
But your apple, people will eat what is available.
And they healthy though.
They will. Yes. They will eat what is available. I've learned that. Like, you could have one apple and cut it up, and people will come and split. Like, did you get the apple at the event today? It was amazing. Yes. So, yeah, people will. Whatever you make available, people, and because they're coming there for another purpose. This is the bonus. Yeah. Like, if you coming to eat at one of my events, you're probably going to be disappointed. You're going to probably have some fruit and some water, some mints. I'm real big on mints for some reason. Okay, so can you guys drop your information? How can we connect with both of you on your individual businesses and then all together with I Am My Sister?
Okay, well, you can reach me at, for Instagram, Facebook, you can reach me at Home Mrs. 1MC. Mm-hmm. And also for my Gmail, you can reach me at Home Mrs. 1MC. That's HOMEMRS, the number 1 MC at gmail.com. And yeah, I think that's it.
And you can reach me, Tanisha Coates, at The Power of One Man. That is on Instagram and Facebook, The Power of One Man. And then collectively for I Am My Sister, we have a Facebook page, and it is at My Sister I Am, and our logo is purple. So it's a few of them out there.
It is, because let me tell you, I was like, this is not them. I was like, I know for a fact
that wasn't
this is not them.
PowerOfOneMan.com.
Yes.
And what was the other one?
At My Sister I Am for Facebook.
I'm super excited to see the next things that you have going on. One, because women empowerment is a big thing for me. I have a private group called Hot Mommies Get Healthy, and in the group we practice our physically, mentally, financially, emotionally. It's honestly me walking and doing my journey, and I'm like, girl, let me tell you what happened. Come with me. But I've met some of the most dynamic women in that group, and being able to see them outside of there, like, hey, I saw you live, and I'm like, girl, what was your question? Like, just helping them, because in my own transparency has allowed me to grow. Yes. And so the more that I grow, I want you to grow too. Yes. I want to see us win together. Yes. And so if it takes me bearing it all, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Being uncomfortable, right on their head, because I know who holds the truth for me. That's right. And so as long as I know that, I'm good. I'm going to keep walking with Jesus.
I had a friend tell me last night, she looked at me and another friend, and she said, get uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. And I was just like, shata.
When somebody say that, I'm like, okay, but can we just ease into the uncomfortableness?
Nope.
Like, no.
You cannot. It's a work to do out here. It's a great work to do.
Being uncomfortable, you thrive in it, though.
You do. Because you don't have no choice.
Like, oh my God.
You don't have no choice. You like, I grow up real fast.
And then you look back at it and you feel like, wow. Like, that was me. It's like, I achieved that.
I want to thank you both for coming on again. So I'm excited I was like, we got to collab. Yes. I got to bring my peeps, my hot mommy peeps to meet y'all. I Am Sister peeps, and we can get together and do something
better.
Glorious.
Watch out now. We do want to have a retreat coming up soon at a hotel.
That is going to be so super amazing. You guys, there are women out here pouring into you. They're waiting. Their whole mission and call on life is to pour into you. So be willing to accept that, honey. Empty your cup out, whatever little BS you got going on, and get some goodness. Get some of that homemade soup and tea that they got going on, so that you can be a better person. So I have a little announcement. Now, Robin knows that next week will be Just One Hot Mom's sabbatical show. Like, Robin's going to make me show. I am taking a leave of absence. So my last show will be March 22nd. But in that show, I will be the most transparent. I got my bonus baby coming on to do my interview, Nick Wolf. But you guys have met her. She was with Curvy in Cleveland, and she is with the Wolf Effect. I am super excited to tell you guys what the next adventure is. This is not going away. Just One Hot Mom will still be around, but we are taking a break because you guys know that, honey, whatever I do in life, I'm doing for him. And I've been called to do something else. So I'm called to my next phase of this journey. So you can still catch me on the hottest. You can't catch us on our website just yet because it's still down. But by next week, it will be back up. But follow us on all my social media at Just One Hot Mom. You have been tuned in, hotties. And guess what? You've been elevated. Talk to you soon.